This video is brought to you by Granger Motors, where you can save up to $1,300 on a factory extended warranty on your new Ford or Ram, Jeep, Chrysler vehicle.
This video is for you because this truck has been the most requested new review that we've had in a long time. What I have right here is the new V6 Ford Ranger. This is a 2024 model, and under the hood is a 2.7 liter twin turbo EcoBoost V6. Why is this important? Why has it been one of the most requested first drive reviews? Well, it's because there's a trend in the industry to shrink down the engines, make them smaller, make them turbocharged, make them 4 cylinders. But Ford is doing something a little bit different. What they're doing is they're adding more power, and in my view, just a little bit more capability into their mid-size trucks with this Ford Ranger. Of course, there's also another V6 Ford Ranger, and that's the Ranger Raptor. We own one, a TFL truck, as a long-term truck, but that's something slightly different because the Ranger Raptor is a high-performance off-road truck that doesn't have a very high towing rating. This truck's tow rating is much higher. And the power is also not quite as high as the Ranger Raptor, but still, we're gonna take this on a drive, and I'll show you exactly how it drives and all the features, and also how much it costs, because price and value are huge these days. So first, I want to say thanks to our friends at Brighton Ford, Colorado. Use the link in the description below. Check them out, because this video wouldn't be possible without them. All right, now what is this truck? This truck is a Lariat. You could see it right here, which means it's one of the more fancier trim levels on the new Ford Ranger. It's also an FX4, and you can kind of see it by these tires. So these are Goodyear Wrangler Territory ATS tires. They're pretty beefy. We've tested Rangers on these tires before. And another way I can tell it's a FX4 is because of this lower bumper insert and this. It's got a skid plate down here, and also really accessible tow points, recovery hooks up here, and slightly different style. Even though this truck is all black on the outside, the FX4 adds this kind of element up front, adds ground clearance. Well, not ground clearance, but just approach angle here in the front, and makes it a little bit more capable. And it also gives this truck a rear locking differential, which is really important. But this truck is pretty fancy. I mean, it has a lot of options. It's got this side steps on both sides, although I don't think midsize trucks really need side steps because they're already a little bit smaller than full-sizers. And of course, Rangers still only come as a crew cab with a shorter bed. You cannot get a smaller cab, you cannot get a longer bed still. In a Ford Ranger. But let's pop the hood and let's check it out. Of course, FX4 badging. We'll talk about tow rating in a second. And that actually does not have bed liner. This bed is all just painted, but that's okay. Let's look under the hood, and of course, we'll take it for a drive in just a couple minutes.
Let me take a minute to tell you about this video's sponsor, Granger Motors, and their extended factory warranties for new vehicles. Today, more than ever, an extended factory warranty is a worthwhile consideration. The new cars and trucks coming out pack more amazing, yet unproven tech and complexity than ever. Knowing this, an extended factory warranty buys you peace of mind. If something goes wrong, you're covered for repairs and parts for years after the original warranty expires. A factory-backed warranty means repairs are done by factory-trained technicians who know your vehicle inside and out and are trained to repair known problems. A factory-backed warranty ensures that your car or truck gets replaced with true factory parts, and in some cases, upgraded factory parts to fix those known issues. So next time you buy a new Ford or Ram, Jeep, Dodge, or Chrysler vehicle, go to Granger Motors for an extended factory warranty. Granger is the #1 seller of Ford Protect warranties and one of the top sellers of Mopar vehicle protection warranties in the country. This volume lets their customers save an average of $1,300, so what are you waiting for?
Yes. Of course, the 2.7 liter V6 under the hood of this truck is not new. It's also available currently in the Ford Broncos SUVs. It's also available in slightly different power rating in the F-150s, and it's also available in several other vehicles that Ford and Lincoln sell. So this is not something like brand new, which I think is great. 315 horsepower and 400 pound-feet of torque. I think, yeah, those are great numbers. These numbers are very similar to the 4-cylinder high output engine from General Motors, and they're up there. Of course, for example, a Toyota Tacoma hybrid may have a little bit more horsepower and quite a bit more torque from their gasoline electric hybrid system, but this engine is not a hybrid. There's no electric motors here, but this truck weighs quite a bit less than a comparable Tacoma hybrid, so it should still have a lot of really great performance, and it will tow up to 7,500 pounds. So that 7,500 pound rating is still here. Of course, the 10-speed automatic is also here. Let me show you the payload number, which should be really good. This Lariat with a lot of options has 1,351 pounds of payload. Okay, so there are other midsize trucks with slightly better payload ratings than this, but still, considering how many options this has, and it is four-wheel drive, of course, that's not a bad number. I think it could be maybe a little bit better, because a Ranger Raptor has something very similar as far as its payload is concerned. All right, now let's jump in, and then we can go for a drive. This truck has a pretty nice interior, partially because it's a Lariat. Leather seats, nice stitching, and it kind of goes with this truck's theme. It's kind of just a lot of black on black on black. So let me start the engine. Okay, it's quiet, but I can kind of already tell it's not a 4-cylinder. Now let's talk about some features. So this, of course, new Rangers have these vertical screens. You have many different settings. I'm not going to go through all of them. Off-road page is right here. This off-road page you can also access here on the center console. So this is very similar to what the Ranger Raptor does. So if you push this button, it'll also bring up this particular screen. And here it is. Like I said, this is an FX4. So it does have a rear locking differential. You can select it here. It has trail control system, basically crawl control system for off-roading. You can see your tire pressures. You can also kind of change the view of this page just a little bit. And of course, Ford, I don't know, this could be faster. In my opinion, I've noticed it in several new Rangers and maybe even F-150s. Some of the screens take a little while to load. Now, if you look here, we have two-wheel drive high, 4 high, and 4 low, but we're missing four-wheel drive auto. So if you do want that auto, a little bit more fancy transfer case, Ranger Raptor is really the way to do it. And then drive modes. This thing has drive modes. So if you look at the main gauge cluster here, I can show you some of them. So normal, there's eco, sport, towing. Like I said, 7,500 pounds of tow capacity, slippery, mud and ruts, and sand. So this does not have rock crawl mode, which is an additional mode that's available in the Raptor. And economy, if you're wondering, so EPA rates this at 19 city, 23 highway, and 20 combined. Of course, this is not an economy loop. We'll get another Ranger V6 truck hopefully very soon, and I'll be able to do Denver 100 video in it, where we test efficiency in real life, real world, and also do a tow test with it. But 23 on the highway is decent. I mean, some F-150s sometimes are rated at 24 on the highway, so I'll bet you this truck would be able to get better than 23 in real world. But we have to wait until another video to do that. Let me put it in sport, and let's go for a drive, because I really want to feel how this truck drives. Yes, first drive in the V6 Ford Ranger. You have to think about it this way. You want a pickup truck to do most jobs really, really well. And when you're buying a midsize truck, you have several considerations probably. First of all, price, because you may not be able to afford $70,000 full-size trucks. Second of all, you might want to garage it. You might actually want to garage it. So let me go this way. A lot of full-size trucks are getting so huge and long and tall that they don't fit in many garages at people's homes. But you still don't want to give up fun. You don't want to give up power. You don't want to give up efficiency, and also towing and payload capabilities. So that's kind of why I think a lot of you are excited about this truck. And also I'm pretty excited about this truck as well. All right, so here's my chance. I'm gonna accelerate onto this little side highway, and let's see how it goes. I'm not gonna launch it like on a drag strip, and we're in two-wheel drive right now. So here we are. There is that engine, and we're hitting 60 now. So, okay, so if I was in four-wheel drive, and if I was at the drag strip, and if I kind of brake torqued it a lot more, and it's fun. It's a good engine. It's, like I said, it's also available in the Ford Bronco, and I cannot say really anything bad about it. Of course, you might be wondering about the reliability. You're probably now searching like F-150 forums and also Bronco forums, and there was some bad history with some of these engines. When the Bronco first launched in 2021, they had problems with 2.7s. Also in the Ford Bronco, it's kind of a blocky, really square vehicle, and it's usually heavier than the Ranger. And that engine doesn't feel quite as sprightly in the Bronco as it does in this, in my opinion. And of course, the 2.7 had some issues in the F-150 as well, but I'm just hoping, I'm an optimist, I'm just hoping that Ford, after all those problems, they worked a lot of them out, and now that this engine is now in this Ranger, that it's actually going to be good for the future. So that's my hope. All right, so this Lariat is nice, but I have one issue with this. This area doesn't have the trailer brake controller. It has a hitch, it has wiring, it has a 7-pin connector, 4-pin connector, everything. It's ready to tow 7,500 pounds. But it wasn't spec'd with a trailer brake controller. I don't quite get it. I'll tell you about the price in just a minute. How, what price does the Ranger V6 start at, and what this costs. But at this well-optioned Lariat, I think that's an issue. Another thing, and I don't know if that's a consideration for you, but no Rangers are available with a sunroof. None of them offer it. So if that's important to you, or yeah, you may have to look elsewhere, maybe a Tacoma or maybe something else. But yeah, this engine feels good, especially on this twisty highway. Oh wow, like 45 to 65. Yeah, I can feel this engine has oomph. Of course, there is still a very huge question. How much does it cost, right? Well, you can only get the 2.7 liter V6 twin turbo engine in the Ranger when you start with an XLT, which is a mid-grade trim. And that engine costs $2,195 over the 4-cylinder engine. So it's already adding about $2,200. So by the time you do that, you're looking at a $43,000 Ford Ranger, which, four-wheel drive, by the way, you can only get this engine with four-wheel drive. You cannot get a two-wheel drive V6 Ford Ranger right now, brand new. This truck is different because it's a Lariat with a lot of other additional features. This one is $53,000. So $10,000 more than the base V6 Ford Ranger. So you have to make that choice for yourself. Which one would you rather buy? But still, this is way less than $58,000 for a Ranger Raptor, and many dealerships are still marking up some of those Ranger Raptors. So if you want V6 power and you don't want to spend $58 or $60 something thousand dollars, you can look at the more base XLT Ranger. All right, let me know what you think in the comments below. Would you buy a V6 Ranger, or would you just go with a 4-cylinder turbo? And check out oldtfl.com for everything automotive in one place, and I'll see you next time.